Welcome to the HR Happy Hour Work Break. You're here with Trish and Steve. Hey, Steve Bose.
Hey, Trish. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well for a Wednesday, midday. I like it. I like the new schedule so far.
Do you like it?
Yes, I do.
I do too. I feel like it really is a work break. Although, to be quite honest, I've been working since 4 a.m. and I just had breakfast. So it's almost like an end of the day break for me at this point. But
I'm not sure why anyone's up at 4 a.m. for any reason. It's too late
because
to
I'm
be
old.
up from the night before, and it's too early to be up for any other reason.
I know. It's because I'm getting old. I mean, I just remember like my grandparents, I guess they were in their 50s, and they'd be up at like 4:30 in the morning listening to NPR or whatever.
Oh.
Yeah, that's turning into me. So anyway, but I got up and got a lot of work done early before the whole world woke up. So that was good. So
all right.
Glad to be taking a work break. What's up with you?
No, not nearly up that early. I'm not a morning person at all. But Trisha, in the news today, this is timely. The infamous Ponzi schemer Bernie Madoff has died in prison at age 82. He was sentenced to 150 years in prison for his financial schemes and his crimes. And so, Trish, the only reason I bring this up, and I felt this way for a long time, I believe I even wrote about this way back when.
Okay.
It's time to officially rename the Ponzi scheme to the Madoff scheme.
Oh,
because Charles Ponzi, I feel like has paid his dues. He's paid his debt to society.
Okay.
Charles Ponzi's scheme. He didn't even create the scheme, by the way. The scheme existed before Ponzi.
Okay.
Ponzi was just the most famous person who got caught up in it or created it. It was in the 1920s, Trish, when Ponzi was scheming. So Ponzi's had 100 years of having his name attached. I'm not blessing Ponzi or forgiving Ponzi for what he was up to. Bad guy.
No one knows who that is, right? So
he was a person. He's been dead for a long time. Madoff now recently died today or yesterday. Let's change the scheme. That's it. That's my whole reason to bring that up. I'm voting.
I vote with you
to the Madoff scheme. So
the Madoff scheme. Hey. Officially on the HR Happy Hour Work Break, we will forever and ever refer to it as the Madoff scheme from now on. So anytime there's any scheming of that way.
Yeah, Ponzi's paid his debt to society as far as I'm concerned.
Did he, or do we know, did he pass away from natural causes in prison, or was he like murdered in prison or something?
I think it was natural causes. There was no details around that.
Yeah, it's probably, at that age, it's probably natural.
Yeah, so that was it. That was the news item today.
All right. Well, that's interesting. I hadn't heard much about that, so that's a good one. What else is up? Anything else interesting?
Here's the thing. I think this is going to become a bigger deal in workplaces, and in society, which is the requiring people to be vaccinated for whatever purpose, whether it's going back to a workplace, whether it's attending some sort of an event, whether it's going on to a vacation at a certain resort, et cetera. So this is in the news again today, Trish. The Buffalo Bills of the National Football League, as well as the Buffalo Sabres hockey team, have announced that they are going to require proof of COVID-19 vaccinations in order to attend, to be a fan at their football games in the fall. The stadium holds about 70,000 people. They expect to open to full capacity, but you must be vaccinated, Trish. I'm pro-vaccine. I've got my first shot. So have you. I think everyone should do it. That's my personal opinion. But we know that people have other opinions out there. So this is a pretty big deal that a really high profile thing like attending a football game in the NFL is going to require vaccinations. Lots of colleges are requiring their students to be vaccinated in order to return in the fall to school. It's going to be an issue. I think a bigger issue than we're thinking in businesses and workplaces.
I think you're right. I have to tell you too, I think just because you have the vaccine doesn't mean you're necessarily pro-vaccine, if that makes sense, because I'll be honest, my thought was more, I've had COVID and recovered, so I have antibodies, and I would rather not get the vaccine. But I actually decided to get it when it was offered because I know that in the future I want to travel outside of the country for work purposes. And I knew that other countries, whether we like it or not, other countries are going to require that in order to go. So I wanted to be prepared from a work perspective. But when it comes to the United States, I'm a little bit of like, don't take away our rights either. So it's kind of a fine line. Like, I don't like everyone having information about what I've been vaccinated for and not been vaccinated for.
Yeah,
And I think you could choose not to go to an NFL game.
well,
Then, if,
that's what
you know what I mean?
I guess the response I and others would have is, no one's taking away any of your rights, because the right to attend a football game in a private business, that you don't have such right. You can be
no, I don't mean those rights. I mean of getting vaccinated.
Yeah, well,
I think if people don't want to get vaccinated, that's their choice.
It
now
is
they
their
can
choice.
choose then not to go to a football game or whatever.
Right.
Business,
I think you need to be careful not to confuse that choice with with a business or a country even outside of the U.S. or even an airline or a resort or a cruise ship, right? Requiring proof of vaccination in order to participate in that event or participate in that business. You don't necessarily have that right? That's not.
I agree with that.
Yes,
I agree with that.
And we also kind of for society, right? You can get into those issues too. Like we agree to certain things, right? You can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater, right? Even though you have the right to free speech, right? So you can make, I think, similar arguments. But anyway, I think it's going to continue. Even now, we're sort of discussing it, and there's different points of views, right? Like times that 70,000 people who want to go to the Buffalo games. My guess is everybody who goes to a Buffalo Bills game typically. Not everyone is lined up for the vaccine or wants to get it, right? I'd expect 70,000 people. Just the math would suggest otherwise.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think, too, a lot of it is just that the vaccine is so early. From the people that I know, again, these are people who are getting the vaccine for other reasons, right? But the ones who still have questions about it is, it's not been researched very long. This is new. We don't know of the side effects yet. And so there's just some hesitation. But I will say, even the people that I know that have hesitation on things like that are getting vaccinated. So I have not met anyone yet personally who isn't being vaccinated for those reasons. But yeah, there will be people.
And I wonder if something like what the Buffalo Bills are doing, and in fairness, it's not the Bills per se, it's the county that the Buffalo Bills play their games in, where the stadium is in. That's really where this is coming from. But I wonder if it actually will say, there might be someone out there who says, I really probably wouldn't do it, but I want to go to the game, right? So I'll just go ahead.
I think there will be.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing, honestly, in my opinion. So
yeah. But like, I do feel like that's something where I think people will have to really think long and hard about where they want to go, or if they want to prove. Again, I'm vaccinated. Do I really want to have to show some card or something every time I go to a restaurant, every time I go out? Not really. Not really.
When I was 18, Trish, I wanted to buy beer, but I had to show my driver's license to the guy at the liquor store, and he got.
I just walked in and got served, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, think about it though. Like anytime you get carded, right, for any reason, not that I get carded anymore, you're showing some rando person in a store your driver's license with your date of birth on it,
all your stuff on it,
and your picture. Well, you guys, they can see.
That's what I mean, though. People feel like we're already doing so many things. If you just think of the other side, that's all. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not saying I believe in it. I'm just saying I think there's another side of where do we draw the line, right?
Yeah.
Where do we? I will tell you this too. I'm not an anti-vaxxer at all. My children, for example, are vaccinated of every single thing they're supposed to have. But I think we might have talked about this months ago, whenever the chickenpox vaccine came out, I didn't want my kids to get it. I didn't really have a choice. They had to get it to go to school. So
yeah, I don't know too much about that one, but yeah, okay.
I'm not a fan of the government deciding what I need to do with my children, what I need to do with my own body. That's all. Now, if I decide to do it, then I'm good. But yeah, but that's one. See, because I was raised and I think you were in that same generation where if you got the chickenpox, or if your friend got the chickenpox, all the moms made you go play with that friend so you would get it, so that you would get immunity and get over it. Chickenpox parties, we used to have them. I mean,
I don't know where you grew up, but I don't recall that kind of social Darwinism happening at the preteen level in my life.
It did here in the Midwest. I'll tell you what.
I don't know what
it really did.
I don't know what kind of Lord of the Flies hellscape you guys grew up in, but no, I don't recall that.
All right. Well, obviously we're not doing COVID parties, so
Well, keep an eye on this. This is going to be big news. I'm going to be doing some Alexa shows about this. I know in the coming weeks, lots of people feel differently. Lots of companies are coming on one side or the other to it. It's going to be a big issue. Just like the lockdowns and shutting down things were a big issue, right? And can to some degree still remain an issue in lots of places. This is going to be a really, really big issue going through the summer and into the fall.
Right. I agree. And it's not even just what we're talking about now. It's just as it evolves, right? As more is known about the vaccine, as more is known about side effects, things like that. I think that the discussion will keep morphing into something different. So yeah, one to follow for sure. Well, listen, thanks for taking 10 minutes and taking a work break with me. Thanks everyone else for joining in and taking a work break yourselves. We will catch you back here. We're on our new schedule. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we will catch you back here on Friday. Day off tomorrow, Steve.
Woo-hoo!
Well, off of the work break. No work breaks. You have to work all day.
Wow.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you Friday.